Hello, Tiramisu Labradoodle puppy families and Labradoodle puppy fans. We have a week 5 litter update video for you today. And this video is going to be a little bit different from the normal format. As you can see, we're in a different spot. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're not going to do individual updates today. We're going to do an overall update for the litter, and we're going to talk about exercise and what is and isn't appropriate for alone time for puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these Australian Labradoodle puppies are having their first adventure down in our puppy family room. Now this is where they're all going to meet their families this Saturday. Always a fun day for the puppies and always, of course, a great day for the families. Now you'll see I do not have bare feet as I usually do when we do our videos, and that's because, you guessed it, they have teeth, and ow, they are sharp, they are chewing away. Everything and anything must go in the mouth at all times. Now lots of people have some concerns about puppies and biting. They think it's something that they should be able to control and something that should be finished very rapidly. That's just not the case. Puppies bite because they have to. It's not because they're mean. It's not because there's something wrong with them. It's not because you've done something incorrectly in working with your puppy. It's because their teeth are coming through. They don't all come through at the same time, and they have to work at getting their baby teeth in, and then as soon as those are in, they have to start working at getting their adult teeth in. So when do puppies start chewing and biting, or stop rather? Usually it's around 6 months. By 6 months, they generally have their adult teeth in. And then that tremendous urge and absolute compulsion to chew, 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 and bite, bite, bite is disappeared. So how do you handle this in the meantime? Well, you have all sorts of good things like chew sticks. You will, in your food box, if you're on this litter list, have appropriate number of chew sticks, the right size, the right type, and the correct variety for your individual puppy. And it's important to keep up with that. It's also really important to give them a good selection of fresh bones, because that provides them with much more mental satisfaction as well as nutritional value than chewing on a bully stick. And of course, microphone wires are also key, according to Green Collar Boy there. I'm just going to try and hide those behind my back. But that's a good example that Green Collar just showed us there. We have lots of toys, we have chew sticks, and we have litter mates to chew on. But what did he find to chew on? The one thing in the entire place we don't want him to chew on, the microphone wire. So that's something you need to be aware of in your house. That's why I always say make sure you puppy-proof your house. The very first thing we talked about on our week 1 litter update, on that video and your educational video that you received, that was all about how to set your house up. So this is why I say be careful with your cell phones, anything that's of value. If you have children, their toys, their shoes, all of those things. If you have a pair of old ratty sneakers, they're not going to like those. If you have a brand new pair of very expensive Jimmy Choos, oh yeah, those will be the ones that they chew up, guaranteed. So just keep that in mind. Now, the other reason we have the puppies down here is because we are on our serious weaning protocol now. The puppies only see Joya, Mama Joya, 3 times a day for 2 minutes. That's it. So they are eating pretty much exclusively raw food now. They still have a little bit of milk stirred into it here and there, but otherwise it's basically just the raw food. And they're having all the proteins, so they're having turkey, lamb, beef, chicken, duck, and some fish as well. So far, fish is not high on the list of favorites. That's normal, but they will eat it. And that's particularly fine. That's totally fine. And that's particular to all dogs of all ages. There's very few dogs who are going to choose fish over beef, lamb, pork, something like that. They all crave red meats. And it's very important to remember when they are puppies, for the first year, at least 50% and preferably 60% of their proteins need to be red meat proteins. So pork, beef, those sorts of things, lamb obviously. That's what we're looking for 60% of their meals. Fish is something that I give our dogs and give the puppies about once every 10 days. And that's about it. And they get one meal of it. They do get a supplement that's an omega-3 fish oil to make sure their omega-3s are kept up, because our soils are low in omega-3s, and our food tends to be high in omega-6, but not so good with the omega-3s. So that's why we supplement with that. And then the only other thing they get is a probiotic, and that's something they get for life, and that's just to help them always with their nutrition being digested properly. And we recommend that you follow that protocol for the rest of their lives as well. Now you can see they're all really coordinated, they're all bebopping around. And the other big exciting news for the litter this week is they've been outside. They have found the outdoors. You probably saw the little video, it's a reel on Van Isle Doodles Facebook page showing them going outside for the first time. They were all really brave, they didn't require too much encouragement, and now that they've discovered the outdoors, in the morning they're like, okay, let us out. Come on, let's go. We'll have something to eat. We'll grab a couple of bites of food. Okay, don't eat my shirt. And then we want to be outside and running around. Now it's raining today, and so this is a really good opportunity for them. It's the first time it's rained since they've been outside. So it's a great opportunity for them to learn to be in the outdoors when it's raining without any concerns. Sometimes people think, oh my gosh, my dog doesn't like being out in the rain. That's totally untrue. Dogs couldn't care less if it's raining or not, unless you have made a big production out of it. They don't need to have a coat. They don't need to have boots. They don't need any of those things. Now, if you are particularly concerned that your dog comes home wet and smelly after being outside in the rain, sure, go ahead and put a raincoat on them. Ask me about that if you have questions. Most people put a raincoat over the top of their dogs, over their backs, whereas really the area that gets the wettest is the undercarriage and the legs. So what you want more than anything is an upside down raincoat, one that protects their stomach area and their legs. If you live in a climate where there's snow, that's going to be particularly important, so you avoid snowballs building up on their legs. And then on their back, if their back gets wet, that's a really easy area to towel dry when you get home. But if you really don't want to do that either, you can get an all-over raincoat that covers the bottom and the top. I don't bother with raincoats for our dogs. By the time I get them all on and then get them all off, it's just as easy for me to towel the dogs off. Now, having said that, I don't ever go out with just one dog. I usually have at least a half a dozen of them. So my way of doing things is going to be slightly different from yours. Now, the other thing that these puppies have been up to this week is learning to be a little bit on their own. Now, this does not mean they've been separated yet. They're too young for that. We don't start doing any of the training that we do in the Head Start program until they're 6 weeks old. They've never been told no. They don't know the word which is what we use for no. They haven't been scolded for anything. If they've done something inappropriate, all we've done is remove the opportunity for that to happen. But next week, when they're 6 weeks old, after their puppy family visit, they'll be ready to start with the Head Start program. So if you are signed up for that, if everyone signs up in the litter, we start right after the family visit. If not, then after allocation day. But the program is designed to be completed within the period of time between allocation and pickup day. And so when we do the Head Start program, we focus a lot on taking the puppies, separating them from their litter mates, having them in the house with adult dogs, and also having them out and about doing things on their own. Yes, I knew I'm talking about you. So right now what we do is we spend time, we take one at a time, and we focus on them like we are here today, except for we do it outside of the general area where all the other puppies are. It's only for a couple of minutes. It's only just getting getting them used to being on their own. And it's also something they really crave now, is to have that level of attention. Now, this is something else I want to talk about, is what do we see with puppies in terms of temperament and spending time alone on their own, and why do some puppies get separation anxiety and why do some not get separation anxiety? So first of all, puppies are not born with separation anxiety. Puppies have no idea what that is. They have no clue that they should be worried about being on their own. That's something that they learn from being around people. And generally how we instill it in our puppies is we make a big production when we're leaving and when we're going out, and even worse when we come home. Now, I get it. I just love when I come home, I can see, ouch, ouch, ouch. You can see they're already starting to hurt when they bite. Ouch, very sharp teeth. When I come home, I can see through one of the windows in our house that Ripple is sitting on a stool we have in our foyer, looking out the window going, is she back? Is she back? And that just warms my heart. I just love that. It makes me so happy. And then when I open the door, all the dogs come running out. They're all excited. They jump all over the place. Each one of them wants my attention. They all try to jump higher than the rest of them. And it's a great big melee of chaos, really. So the important thing to do when you come home is you don't want your dog doing that. Is you just go, hi, how's it going? And no eye contact. Continue on through into your house. Put your jacket away, put your bag away. You've got your groceries, things like that. Put them down. Give yourself 30 seconds to do that, and then sit on the floor. You will never teach your dog not to jump up all over you when they're excited to see you. So what you want to do is you bring yourself down to their level. That way they're not jumping. They instinctively learn not to jump, and you're working with their natural behaviors. Now, what I do a lot of the time is if we do have a big crowd of dogs at the house, which often happens when we have moms here or guest dogs boarding, some of our guardian dogs boarding, and so on, I'll leave everything in the car. I'll come in the house, I'll open the front door, and I just sit down right away. I don't have my purse, I have nothing in my hands. And this is pretty much what happens, what you're seeing right now. They crawl all over me, they say hi, they give me kisses, I give them kisses. We all have a nice little get together. It usually lasts for about 5 minutes at the most. Everyone gets their turn, then they're all like, oh good, bounce back, life's back to normal, and then I'll go out and get things and bring them in from the car. But I don't make a big production out of it. I just do like I'm doing now. I don't go, oh my goodness, my baby sweetheart, oh, big color girl, where have you been? Oh, I love you so much, mommy missed you. Oh, what did you do when I was gone? Were you okay? Oh, my baby. Now, if you look at her, you can see already I'm doing that, and she's like, what? What is she doing? You can see she's showing me the whites of her eyes, which is a really clear indication she's distressed. She has no idea what that was all about, and she didn't like it. And that's what happens when we make dogs anxious. We do something ourselves that makes them go, what the heck? What's happening? Oh no, I'm going to be worried about this. It's the same when you go to leave. If you go, oh, the babykins, mommy's just going out to get some groceries. She's not going to be long. Make sure you're a good puppy. I love you. Okay, I'm going to miss you. Kiss, kiss. Oh, I love you. Oh, you'll be okay. Then when you close the door, they're like, what just happened here? So what we want to do is not make a production out of arriving or leaving. Just leave it completely neutral. And if your dog is showing you that they're unhappy being left alone, okay, that's good to know. So you just have to adjust how you are working on getting them used to that. Now, how you get them used to it is you use your X-Pen that comes in your puppy starter kit. You have their bed. You can see we have the donut bed in here. Perhaps Randall can show you that if you can't see it. And you have your puppy in here. You have some toys like we have here. You see we have a good selection of different types of toys, a couple of chew sticks, and some pee pads. And the X-Pen is set up just like it is here, just about this same size for a single puppy. And what you're going to start off doing is having your puppy here and you in it just like I am. That way your puppy learns, hey, this is a fun place. Yep, this is great. I've got toys. I got stuff to do. This is really fun. And then when you're going to want to start teaching them to be on their own, You want to have been outside, you want to have had a good run around, you want to have come in, paid lots of attention to them. They're starting to get tired, it's nap time. You come in with them, you sit in here, and really now is the time when you don't interact with them so much. You're going to give them a chew stick, which by the time they come home with you, they're going to be really interested in. You're going to have the chew stick, and once they show you that they're getting a little bit sleepy, you're going to step outside of the X-Pen, but you're going to stay right where they can see you. So it's important when you figure out where to set up your X-Pen that it's in a location where they can see you. And a good time to do this is usually after you fed your dog a meal and now you're starting to prepare the meal for the people. So in the evening, after your puppies had dinner, they've gone out, send them out with your partner, with your kids, have a good roar around, lots of a good play, and now they're starting to get a little bit sleepy for their evening nap. You're probably still going to be preparing dinner. If they're not ready when you're preparing dinner, wait till you're cleaning up from your dinner or at some point when they are tired. You can even wait until after everybody's eaten and now perhaps it's family time. You read together, homework, kids doing homework on the dining room table, or perhaps you're all sitting around watching a show together. Your puppy's bound to be tired at this point. Have the puppy in the X-Pen. All of you are nearby, but you're not actually in with them. Just get them used to it, where they're comfortable, they're assured that, oh yeah, you're still there, you haven't abandoned them. Because you have to realize it's going to take them a good 2 weeks to be able to trust you and believe that you haven't abandoned them. We can leave them right now on their own and walk away and they don't have any concerns because they trust us. They know we will be back. They've never known anything different. But when they go home with you, they haven't yet learned to trust you and believe in you. You have to earn that, and that takes a little bit of time. And then as time goes on, you start to increase your distance away from the X-Pen so that you're farther and farther away, and when they're comfortable, you pop out the door or anywhere where they just can't see you. And you start doing that just for a couple of minutes, gradually work that up. And by the time that they're fine with you doing that for 10-15 minutes, that's when you can feel comfortable that you can go out and do your errands. But when you're getting up to this point, just have one person at home so that if your puppy does become all excited and unruly, that somebody's there to comfort them. You do not want to let them cry it out. You do not want to leave them on their own in the X-Pen or in the crate when they are highly distressed. If they're just going, and they're going to get over it, that's fine. You can leave them with that. But if they're hysterical and they're really amped up, you absolutely want to come back and reassure them and explain to them that, hey, I'm never going to leave you when you're in distress. So that's a real basic starter kit there for how to avoid separation anxiety and how to get your puppy ready to be left on their own. Now the other thing is exercise. How much exercise should you do? First rule to remember is no stairs for your puppy for the first 6 months. So how come? What's the matter with stairs? Well, what happens is their bones don't touch yet. They are not fused. Their joints are not formed. And although hip dysplasia does have a genetic component to it, a good 70-ish to 80-ish% of hip dysplasia is actually caused by nutrition and environmental factors. So a highly processed food diet, a kibble diet for instance, is problematic in getting joints to develop properly, whereas a whole food diet, the raw diet that your puppy is on, is designed for everything to develop properly. And then repetitive activities, which a staircase is, ouch, 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 thank you, is something that can also cause hip dysplasia. If they're going down 2 very shallow steps that you might have in your backyard out to your yard, that's totally fine. You don't need to worry about that. But a staircase, even if it's just a half a flight, if you have a split or a bi-level type home, those are the ones you want to block off, and you pick your puppy up to take them up and down the stairs every time for the first 6 months. After 6 months, they can do that once or twice a day, but definitely not on a routine basis until they're a year old. Same thing is going to apply when you take them for a walk. You're not going to want to go and take your puppy for a half-hour walk on leash thinking that, oh, I'm going to tire my puppy out. So when you have your puppy on leash, if you have them on your 6-foot leash that you'll get in your puppy starter kit, that's only used for taking them out to go to the bathroom and to give them a short period of exercise. These walks aren't fun for puppies. This does not satisfy your puppy in any way. They need to be able to walk at their own speed, at their own pace, stop, sniff everything. When they're little, they'll try to put everything in their mouth as well. Carry on, stop. And that's how you want to walk your dog. So that way there's no worry about repetitive movements or exercise with your puppy, and they're also getting a really good amount of exercise physically, but more importantly, mentally. Lots of times you'll read things about, oh, a tired puppy's a happy puppy. Go take your puppy out for 15 walks a day. Oh, do this, do that. Totally untrue. Your puppy is going to be more tired and more satisfied if their brain is being activated. And their brain is activated one way, through their nose. Everything they get in terms of information comes from their nose. Sure, they can see you, they can see other dogs. Of course, they receive information through their eyesight. But what they actually learn, what actually tells them things, and what's actually interesting for them all comes from their nose. So that's why they sniff everything. And that's why they like to stop all the time. And that's what you need to remember. That's how they decompress. That's how they also stimulate their minds and decompress at the same time, which I know sounds contradictory, but it's because they've been entertained. Imagine sitting in a room for an hour with nothing. Pretty boring. You're not going to really be tired, you're not going to be satisfied, and you're not going to have relaxed at all. If you're in a room for an hour and let's say you've watched a hockey game, if you're a hockey fan, you've read a book that you've really enjoyed, or you've watched a TV series that you like, or watched a cooking show. When the hour is up, you're like, oh, cool, I learned something, or that was really fun, and you are more relaxed, your brain's been stimulated, and you're in a completely different place than you are if you were put in a room for an hour with nothing. So that's kind of a good way to think of it. When you take your puppy out for a walk and you're marching along and not letting them stop, that's what you're doing. It's like being in a room for an hour on their own. That's a great way of exercising yourself, but not your puppy. So short, frequent, go to different places, jump in the car, even if you just drive for 5 minutes and go around a different block, that's what you want to do. Now, what's safe for your puppy in terms of they won't have their full vaccinations and immunity until about 10 days after their 3rd set of shots, that is something that you have to use common sense with. Don't go to a pet rest area. Definitely never go to a dog park. I don't recommend you ever go to a dog park in your dog's life. Those are some of the most dangerous places that there are for your dogs. And that's where people who are lazy go to exercise their dogs. So don't go to the shelter. If you don't want to be going to a daycare, you don't want to be going to the groomer, all of these things where there's lots of unknown dogs. And the most dangerous place of all is, of course, where sick animals congregate, which is your vet's office. When you go to your vet's office, you want your puppy in their crate. You want to bring your puppy blanket that you get from us, put that on the examination table. Don't be having them on the table. No paws on the floor there. And you definitely don't want to let them out to go to the bathroom at the vet clinic where all the sick dogs are pooping and peeing. And that's usually how, if a dog is going to pick something up, it's through an infected feces. So that's definitely areas we want to avoid. If you happen to see your pet go somewhere and they do step in a strange dog's poop, you want to have your wipes that you get in your puppy starter kit with you, wipe their feet off right away, and then when you get home, do a more thorough cleaning of their paws, because it's from licking their paws that they end up getting infected. So that's a little introduction to alone time and exercise. And we also talked a bit about biting for your puppies. These guys are just doing great. None of them have any concerns with being away from Joya. Joya also is not concerned about being away from her puppies. She tries to jump in all the time, but not because she's so in love with her motherhood duties, but because she wants to eat their food. Joya is on a restricted diet now to help dry her milk supply up. So that means she is hungry because her body's telling her, hey, we should be making milk still. So these guys are all perfectly content with being weaned. We've done it at the right time. Joya was the one who instigated the process, and these guys are all clearly quite able to manage it. They're all eating really well. They all have teeth and lots of them. There's no problems with that. So now our puppy family visit is coming up on Saturday. I just want to say one brief word about that. You will see, obviously, all the puppies. And if you think, oh, this puppy is really outgoing and gregarious, and I can tell you that will be Blue Collar Boy. He is the most gregarious puppy in the litter at this point. And if you see a puppy who's like, oh, that puppy's really looking like they're shy. Okay, so there aren't any shy puppies. There are puppies who are more thoughtful and more considered in their approach to things. So Purple Collar Boy is our quietest puppy in the litter. And Purple Collar will wait and he'll watch and he'll think about it long before he'll barge in head first with no regard for any thought as to any possible danger. That's what Blue Collar Boy likes to do. He's just out there giving it. So does this mean that if you get Blue Collar, you have this really wild, outgoing, crazy guy? Or if you get Purple Collar, that means you have this terribly shy and going to have all sorts of anxiety issues puppies? Not at all. These puppies will change dramatically between now and pickup day. We may still find that Purple is the more thoughtful puppy, and we may find that Blue is still a very gregarious puppy, but they will change and they will evolve. Quite often what happens after our puppy family visit is the quietest puppy becomes the most outgoing puppy. It's like the puppy family visits turns the switch on with the dogs and they change completely. So please, when you're here for your visit, don't think, oh, that's the puppy for me. I'm sure that's the puppy for me. Maybe it is, but don't be surprised if it isn't, because they will not be the same when we do the allocations and when they go home with you. If you got any comments, those are great. Those help us out so much if you take a moment and give us a comment below, even if it's just to say that you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you did enjoy the video. If you've got a question, please feel free to post it below here. And if you don't have time to do that, although we sure hope you do, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And we hope you're subscribed and that you watch all of our videos. We try to give you a bit of different information each time. Thanks so much for watching. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. You got me kisses?